All right. Hello, hello. Recording has started now. What'd you guys think of yesterday's trade recap recording that I did? It's a little long, so I thought I would just include the parts that were relevant to the trade. Did any of you guys watch yesterday's PM video? You guys don't have to watch it. It's optional. It's just a recap of what was here yesterday, so if you missed it, it's more for those people. It's not like there's anything like educational in it. It's just like a recap of the trade. The thoughts that I had while we were doing it. But yeah, no, we're way too high. We need to see a drop. Ideally, a good level that might come into play for like longs would be if we like took this liquidity and then moved higher. It would also make sense to see price retrace to this 1 hour for value gap that we left unfilled with the devil's mark. So might be smart to look here and then look for longs out of there with the OB. But yeah, once we sweep liquidity, like all bullish PD arrays below kind of like end up being like potential inverses, right? So maybe we'll get lucky and we'll be able to like catch a short. Maybe we'll get short if we inverse like this 3 minute or something, or 5 minute. Well, it's the same as the 3, it looks like. Yeah, so like really this 1 minute's going to be telling. We have a nice break-even point potentially, and we also have the equal lows. So I think if we were to break through this, this would be an eval short. Take profit here. Take profit here, or at this low. I'd probably do it here and then just like hold a runner maybe. And then once we hit this low, this is 11 o'clock. And so a lot of people, I think, have stops placed here from the run up and here. I think these are both good draws on liquidity. So, Scotty, I think we're just going to have to watch the reaction to it. If we continue to blast up through the daily CB, then obviously, you know, the trend day conditions continue and we're still bullish. If we start to reverse and we inverse this 1 minute, I think we go for this low, and then ultimately come back to the 1 hour unfilled gap. So it's really just going to depend how we react here. So far, not really anything telling me that we're bearish yet. So nice, Mike. I'm doing good, Seb. How are you? Bitcoin going for 95. I think Bitcoin goes to 125. We need to get over -2 though, which is 97 first. If we get through -2 and -2.5, we'll go to 125K. I think -2.5 is like 103 or something. So once we're past 103, we're gonna go for 125. Any trades so far? No, not on stream yet. I took a trade this morning. I chased this long here. I caught that for a few points, and then I took a short. I think it was this short on the 32nd. I entered here, I think. And then I took full profit here at the low. I have the screenshot for that. Let me pull that up. And then I took another trade. I took a loss. The long, just the inverse here on the 1 minute. This candle. I think I ended up taking partials and then break even on the rest. I don't have MFFU open. I just have the screenshot from the one trade. So there's that. And then the other trade was this short. I just took it with a single micro. I didn't have conviction in it working. I just wanted to try it just in case, 10 a.m. reversal. And then I got stopped when we closed over this high, or this gap. So I went 2 for 1 today. Partials on half break even. The other one was full TP. So not bad. So the reason I was still in this short on the 30-second, even though it came back on me like 20 points, is because I knew we were in volatile trend day conditions. So I didn't necessarily want to try and hold or take a short with a lot of size. So when I initially took this short, I think it was at 47, right? Oh no, was it 47? Yeah, it was like 47. It was like right around here. When I initially took this short, I was watching the 30-second and the 1 minute, and my condition was going to be if the 1 minute closed above, I'd get out. And so this play came back up, and then it stopped the 30-second out, but I wanted to see if the macro was going to send it down, so I waited. And then the macro started at 950. We didn't inverse the 1 minute here back up, and then we just shot down for 30 points. And typically what you'll see in macro conditions or macro times is that first couple minutes, and I've mentioned this before, that first couple minutes is usually a manipulation leg, and then we get the real move after that, right? So under that assumption, I figured if we were bullish and we were going to continue to go up for the macro, we would get some sort of manipulation leg. So I held it, I caught the trade, sold at the bottom, and then once I was up, like I think it was like 30 points or something, I just took full profit because I figured it would be a manipulation leg and I would get stop break even regardless. Especially since we were struggling to get to this liquidity point. If we hit here, I would have held runners and tried to hold for like the unfilled gap on the 5 minute down here. That was my ultimate target, but we never got to it. Sorry, not there. I misspoke. Down here. Where would you draw for a 50% for further longs? 50% here doesn't really make sense, I think. Unless it lines up with this 1 hour. Yeah, it doesn't. So I don't think we come back to this 50% because in order to come back for 50, we'd have to violate an OB and an FEG. So if that happens on the 1 hour, that would be really bearish. So I think what would make the most sense is that we come back for the 1 hour BISI, and what we would have to clear in order to get that is these equal lows and this liquidity here. So I'd be looking for longs out of basically the new day opening gap to go higher. If we even retrace, which so far we're just pumping up. So ultimately we could just be going for 50% of the daily range, which is at 862. And I'm not going to be taking any trades up here because it's way too high. But you guys know that already. Can we get to 60 people in call today? We have 106 total members. Do you guys know that? 106 people. And only 55 in attendance. When we first started, we had like 40. Isn't that crazy? They're probably green, so they're done, of course. That's usually how it goes. Or bloat accounts from shorting, right, Scotty? Oh, really, Eric? Okay. No, Maya, you're good. I can repeat it. Pretty much this is my condition. We've hit the daily civvy, so I'm waiting to see if price reacts off of that. If it doesn't, we're not going to be taking any trades. We're just going to watch price grind up to the 50% level. If we do, there's two potential setups we have here. One is an eval trade where we inverse this gap on the 1, 2, 3, and 5 minute. If we just inverse it with good momentum down on like the 1 minute, I think that's a valid trade to take to the equal lows here. Go to break even at this low at 689.75. And then target here for TP1, TP2, and then like maybe a runner down to the new day opening gap. And then on funded, to get a trade, we would need a V-shaped recovery after taking this liquidity, reacting off of the 1 hour BISI, and then targeting just high of day again. So that's my trade plan for right now. What I think is going to happen and what I think is highest probability is that we just continue to grind up into close. Whenever we're in trend day conditions like this, your best bet is to wait until after 10 o'clock and look for a setup to get long on options and just try and hold for like a big, higher time frame liquidity target. Do we have news? Like, what are these candles? We have no news. We have an FOMC member speaking, I guess. We took Asia high on ES. Is that what that was? Took high day there. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like volatility's picked up a little. I don't think I would take this for a short just because we're like, you know, you're shorting a 30-second in trend day conditions, which like you're fading the trend. You never want to step in front of a falling knife or a freight train. And right now this is a freight train. So what's going on, Mike? How we doing, man? The 10 a.m. plus option strategy? Sure. So, like, anytime you see price have a major V-shaped recovery reversal prior to 950, and it's apparent that we're not in, like, seek and destroy conditions where we're purging liquidity to the downside, then purging liquidity to the upside, and just doing that back and forth, and you're seeing that we've swept some major liquidity, and it looks like, you know, trend day conditions, you can start to look for potential, like, longs on options if, like, for example, we sweep liquidity and there's no sign of a slowing down here. So this was the exact entry point I was talking about for a potential options play earlier. This is, I literally said, if we inverse this 30-second here with good momentum, this is probably an options play that will work, and you can just hold this at the end of the day. You can buy out of the money contracts, and they will be in the money by the end of the day, and you'll make like between 2 and like 1,000%, depending on how high we go. And since then, we've pumped up almost another 150 points. I hear you, Mike. Yeah, 0 day till expiries. That's what I would do. I haven't really tested it out, but I have a feeling that that would work really well. Trend day conditions literally just run forever. If you have like, I don't even know if they have test account for options like where you can back test. If they did, that would be super cool because I'd want to try it. But yeah, like as soon as you recognize trend day conditions, you can just like enter options and make a bunch of money. So including me, we have 60 in here, but I want to see 60 in the audience. That would be so cool. That would be like our highest number yet. IBKR, yeah, I'll use that. 50% of the 1 hour? Nice, nice, nice. I don't really look at CE of gaps like that, really. My biggest thing is liquidity. And I think a good liquidity target is this 1 hour high right at 50. I think from there we might see a potential reversal, considering we're just still blasting up through this 1 hour city. Any chance the short is stronger? Honestly, dude, I will not be taking any shorts unless we inverse like the last gap in the leg and there's a decent, you know, RR and there's like an obvious draw. So like this is the only place I could short. I just don't trust any shorts today. You can't, you literally just can't fade the trend. There's something else going on in the background that is like pushing price, and any stop run you see is literally just that. It's just a stop run. So you have to wait for like the CISD or like the higher time frame, like confirmation reversal. Hey, Risk Feast, how's it going? 60, there it is. Very cool. Up and 59. Hey, this is a big ask, but would you like to jump up on stage and talk about your experience on the one-on-one this morning? If not, totally cool. I can do it for you. And you can be as honest as you want to be. You can't? All good, man. Don't worry about it. I will. I'll try and bring up. If you can't do it today, I'll probably just have the person that is doing the one-on-one tomorrow do it. Or if you want to tomorrow, if the other person's unavailable, then you'd be more than welcome to hop up on stage. Whatever works. Basically, this morning went kind of, I'd say, like lackluster in a way. Um, I initially, when we first got on, I realized that I made a mistake with how I set this up, and this is something that's going to be changed for the future when it comes to one-on-ones. Instead of starting right at 9 and just jumping in, I'm going to set a 10-minute buffer before that, so any one-on-ones will actually start at 8:50, and then we'll start trading at 9, because when I first joined, we were just having a conversation about, like, introductions and talking to one another about trading psychology, and we ended up like missing this banger 1 minute long, right? And we took this short, and then we stopped out on the play because the 30-second failed, but the 1 minute didn't. And because I was writing down notes and I was like going through a lot of stuff, I didn't recognize this in the moment. But when we start earlier and we don't start right at 9 to start trading, which is what I normally do, that problem will be rectified moving forward. So that was the one issue that we had. Otherwise, we caught 2 other trades, which ended up working out. He had 5 accounts go green, and I believe 2 accounts go red. I hope you don't mind me sharing that. And overall, I think it was like a pretty good experience. He told me it was good. So that was about it. Can you vouch for that? Okay, so there's his vouch. Um, because of this little hiccup that I had with him, I ended up giving him a few months of premium, just as like a thank you for being the guinea pig and for trying out the one-on-ones. And yeah, overall session went good. I was able to get his feedback back to him. I gave him some notes, and yeah, anybody that decides to do a one-on-one with me, I'll be able to converse with you in the future. So if you have questions, or you want to bring up stuff from the one-on-one, I'll always have my DMs open. So that's about it. As you guys can see, we're clearly just blasting up through. The daily Sibby isn't even mattering at this point. So like I said, it was the most probable that we were just going to continue to pump up, and I said that right about here. And since then, we've moved another 50 points higher. So if I had to guess, we're probably just going to continue to go up and go for 50%, which is about another 100 points away, but definitely not out of the question before the end of the day. Yeah, I think, what were your notes, like, what, 800 words that I gave this morning? Yeah. I haven't written that much since college, so I hope you enjoy them. But yeah, who's currently like in a trade right now? Is anybody long? Nah. Adrian, you are? Where'd you even get in? Are you in from like way lower? Nah, just based off order flow. Yeah, that makes sense. You see this massive green candle, and us respect the 1 minute here. I mean, every single 1 minute is probably going to work for a long here. That's just how trend is. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for like 860 here, Mike. Let's go. My new Lions jersey shipped. I'm pretty sure I bought a knockoff, but it was cheap, so it was like $35. Dude, how how is this still going? You could be up 400 points from this morning from the trade. The 1 minute. 400 on one micro. How much how much money is that? Oh, Fahrenheit. Is that 800? Yeah, that's $800. Imagine entering with 5 micros. You'd be up 4 grand. Pretty crazy. Yeah, like, okay. So when you see this work this high up, it's just, like, trend day, right? When you see this work after we've taken liquidity, that's how you know trend day. That's why I'm saying, like, if you take these plays on options, like, you're gonna make a lot of money. I mean, you see this play work with equal lows. We're just in like chop ranges. Um, by the way, here's 150. Yeah, for sure, Scotty. Especially if we inverse the daily. I don't see where else we'd be going. We got another about 200 points to go to inverse the daily. Yeah, that would make sense, but at the same time, like, we're just way too bullish. So we'll probably just get a close that's like really high. What do I think? I think it breaks my rules personally, Coop, but every single long off an IFG is probably going to work in conditions like this. So not FEGs, you only enter when it's IFEG. Yep, and I only enter when we get like a liquidity sweep, and I only enter off of the model. So if it's not the model, then we're sitting in premium of the range at high of day. I'm probably not going to be looking for longs. You said you took the 1 minute? Yeah, I took this long. Basically. I only took it for a few points. I think they'll work, but I wouldn't. I would, it would break my rules. Like I don't think like in the long term it's gonna make you profitable to just chase, which is what you'd be doing. You're just chasing. If you want to do it on an eval, go for it. But you're gambling. It's like walking into a casino. Like, I mean, are we gonna tap this 2 minute and probably fly, or this 1 minute and probably fly? Probably. Am I gonna miss it? Yes. Am I gonna care? Nah, because I'll just wait for tomorrow, right? The best course of action here is just wait for tomorrow, get a better fill, and go about my day. Can you explain how it's gambling? Because you're gambling the probabilities. You're not taking a high probability trade. You're taking a maybe trade. I mean, have you back tested this? Do you know the probability of this working out? Like, Koob, if you can tell me the probability of this working out, then I'll take it. If it's a good chance. But if you can't tell me, then I'm not gonna take it. Pain? Yes. Pain. I mean, the ideal entry would be if you entered from down here. Any entry after that is just a bad entry. Even if it is the case that we just keep going up. I mean, if you wanna like, you know, justify like longing in premium, which is against everything that ICT teaches, then go for it. I don't do it because it breaks my rules, and I know that in the long run I'm gonna find a better trade that's higher probability later on. Like, what are the chances? Like let's say like okay, you're saying this now. Just wait for like when we get one of these massive stop run candles. That's all I'm gonna say. Just wait. Just wait. Watch the price. Watch what's going on, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, because like I'm not gonna gamble a stop run candle. Like I could get stopped out at any moment here. Like I could enter a trade here, and then oh we didn't displace over this high, so now we're just gonna stop run you, and the price could drop 50 points in one candle here, and then I blow my account, right? Or I can just wait for the high probability setup that we get after sweeping liquidity. Yeah. Sorry that kind of dragged on, guys. I mean, the main reason why you take a trade up here isn't because of anything you learned. It isn't because you think it's a good trade. It's because you're FOMO'd and you've watched price run, and now you want to try and catch the move. And any trade that you take that's based in emotion is always a bad trade. Okay? It's always a bad trade. The only trades you should be taking are trades that are based in logic and sound reasoning, not based in emotion. You shouldn't be FOMOing into trades. You shouldn't be taking a trade off like when you're scaling because you're scared that the profit target's not going to hit. You shouldn't be trading in fear at all, right? What are the What do the Jedi from Star Wars say about fear? Not to be a nerd, but it's like actually a good parable. They say you need to let go of fear, right? You need to release it because fear is like the dark side, right? It's what, leads to all these bad things, right? And then as soon as Anakin makes a choice in fear, he's scared of losing Padme. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. He ends up killing Padme because of his fear. When if he would have just not been fearful, everything would have been fine. So in order to short here, we need to come back to the 139 candle. In order to short here, we would need to, yeah. Honestly, like, there's just no reason to short here. Like, honestly, we need to come back to the 107 candle. The best course of action, I think, is just like wait for a stop run candle, get a 30-second inverse and take that on eval, and that's all you can do right now. You can't take anything unfunded; it's too high. There's nothing to take here. Mike is saying this would be a good retrace to get to the 800 level, but I don't know. That's actually a good lesson to teach right now. Question yourself every time you take a trade. Am I taking this trade based on emotion or am I taking it based on fact? And really self-reflect. And if the answer is emotion, don't take the trade. Is the 1 hour FEG that we are inversing important? I'd say the daily is more important, but it doesn't hurt that the 1 hour is like in the process of being inversed. Yeah. I want there to be a stop run candle so bad. I want there just to be a massive red candle just to prove to you guys what I'm talking about. Like, that's not good enough. We hit the 2 minute, I think. The tiny one there. So this was the next 4 hour candle, by the way. We didn't inverse it. We did not inverse the 4 hour. We got really close. We didn't get it. So we're getting minimal displacement over ES taking London High, and we didn't inverse the 4 hour BISI. So maybe there's a chance that we get a reversal here. I'm not going to put any money on it because we're way too high, we're way too bullish. But we would have wanted to see those things happen where we displace over the previous high that ES has, and we inverse the 4 hour, and we didn't get that. So that's when you have to start like thinking about like potential reversal points. So not a lot to say right now. We're just chopping. So just waiting for price to do something still. We're just chopping around in the middle of the range, in the middle of a fair value gap. I think we're like anticipating like another stop run, or we've just like gotten out of the macro, so now we're just chopping. Macro ended at like 2. Does anybody else have any like questions that they want to ask regarding, anything from today? Where's a good place for a trailing stop? Anytime we put in an obvious OB. So that's actually a good question for like specifically trend day conditions. So, for example, if we're in a trend day, this OB shouldn't break, right? So let's say you enter from here. Let's say you went to break even here, took partials here at the last gap in the leg, and now you want to trail your stop because you're up a lot and you don't want to leave your break even right here. So what you do is you trail your stop below this OB, because if we break this OB, it's a very obvious bullish candle, then we're probably going to be heading lower and you'll probably get break even anyway. So a good place to put it would be like this obvious order block, and then after that, this one's kind of obvious, and this one probably would have taken me out if I'm trailing my stop there. But at that point, I probably would have been out of the trade regardless, because we just went so high up. This is another obvious order block. You can tell based on the size and just like how it sticks out. That would be another good place to trail. None of these are really obvious order blocks here. They're kind of like chopped in the middle of the range, and they're not as singular. This would be another good place to set your stop below, is this IFEG. We shouldn't inverse an IFEG if we're bullish. So if we come back and inverse this, that means one of two things. One, price action has gotten bad, or two, we're bearish now. So you can set your stop below that, whether that's here, 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 it doesn't really matter. Normally I just trail it right there. Sometimes we wick down and end up respecting it though, so depending on how big this is, you can place it wherever. If it's like Like here, this is like only a 15-point candle, so it's not that big. But if you had like a 30-point candle, you can obviously set it like more towards the middle. So I'll just highlight where that happens. So like right here too, like we shouldn't go below this inverse. So that's another good place to trail. What else? Okay, so you have this singular OB, then this the IFEG, this IFEG, and then after that, I guess you have, this one's too tiny, so I wouldn't use it, but I think that's it. After that, I would just still have my stop trailed here, but I'd only be holding a runner. And once you start putting in like higher time frame gaps, you can start leaving them at like the swing, I mean the last fair value gap in the leg. So like theoretically, like this 15 minutes shouldn't break. It's the last 15 minute in the leg. So you could trail your stop below that and set that there. And then after that, it's pretty much just like anticipating which PD arrays are necessary to hold in order to remain bullish. So that's how I would trail my stop on a play like this. It's just figuring out what PD arrays would need to hold in order to remain bullish. And that would be these obvious OBs, these IFEGs, and higher time frame for value gaps. I'm like the worst person to ask about that question, James, because like I was profitable within 6 months of starting. So like I would just say the biggest thing is just focusing on your emotions and focusing on like improving that gas tank that I talked about, right? Making sure that you can go the distance on that single tank of gas and getting to that objective, right? When you think about your mental capital. Because your ultimate goal is to become profitable and, you know, pass eval and a funded. So that's your goal. That's your destination. And in order to get there, you have to have enough gas and you have to use that gas efficiently. So getting enough gas means either having a more efficient car or having a bigger gas tank. And the way that you can improve your gas tank size is by doing things that help you like psychologically or spiritually, right? That means, you know, going to the gym or taking a walk in nature or, you know, getting rid of like fears and desperations in your life, right? Like if you're somebody who's struggling with money right now and you are trading in a place of like, I need to make money in order to survive and I need to be desperate and all that, right? Then that's like a place that you shouldn't be trading from. You should be trading from the money will come after the points. I need to make the points. I need to become profitable, or not profitable, but I need to take the model and focus on that. And the money will come from becoming good with that. It shouldn't be coming from the main goal being I need to make money. The money will come after. So those are ways that you can expand your gas tank and make it bigger so you can hold more gas. Or fuel or petrol or whatever, you know, is in your country, or battery. The other thing is being more efficient with how you drive, not flooring it after every single red light. You know, that's revenge trading, right? Not driving around in circles. That's moving your stop to break even too fast, or taking a winning trade and then following it up with another trade and taking a losing trade, right? You need to make sure that you're being efficient and thoughtful with the way that you're trading, the same way that you would be efficient and thoughtful with the way that you drive when trying to reach destination on a single tank of gas. So with those two things in mind, you should be able to make things click with your trading as long as you can be efficient, as long as you can, you know, get to your destination. Does that make sense, James? It's really just mostly psychology. Outside of that, like the mechanical issues that you have, whether that's, you know, not knowing the model or whatever, that can all be rectified by learning. And that's just screen time. So I would definitely say for some it can click, and for some it's a gradual thing. Yeah, the majority of traders fail because of psychological reasons. Your success is not determined by luck or your own individual skill. And those two things are often what traders attribute their successes and losses towards, right? Traders will overcompensate their successes when it comes to skill. They will say, oh, I'm so good at trading. I only take wins, whatever. I'm going to start sizing up. I'm going to start trading more. I'm going to start taking more trades. You are not a profitable trader because you take more trades. You are a profitable trader because you take less trades. The market is what makes you profitable. The algorithm is what makes you profitable. The model is what makes you profitable. Not your ability to press buttons. Not because you think, oh, I'm so good at trading. I could just click this button and this will work. And, I could just never take a loss. Those things, emotions, are what makes traders unprofitable versus profitable. Or vice versa. Anxiety definitely affects it. Desperation definitely affects it. And getting those things in check is really important to making sure that you're a profitable trader. We have a tiny bullish SMT right now that I think is going to break. This could be our stop run here. So for all of you people saying, oh, we should get in now. Why don't we just get in? This is why. We've just dropped 25 points in 3 candles. And it's starting to look a little sellish. Regardless, you wouldn't, where would you put your stop here if you decided to chase long here? This is, thank goodness, it's finally giving me what I asked for, which is an example to show you why you don't chase long. This is why. If you entered from up here, you're now down 20 points. Where do you place your stop? You're welcome, James. It kind of makes sense to long and trend day conditions whenever you have an obvious place to put your stop. But when we're pumping like this, there's nowhere that's obvious to put your stop. Here it makes sense. If we violate this gap, then obviously we're going to keep going lower. So you could trail your stop below that. But until then, where? Because this is all higher time frame gaps. This is like all 15 minutes. This is like all, places where like price could reverse from. So you can't put your stop there. Your soonest stop point would be 690, which is 70 points away. And if you're taking a trade with a 70-point stop, your risk to reward has to be at least better than that. So you have to make 70 points, which would be possible if we got to 860. But there's no guarantee that we go to 860 because we never inverse the 4-hour. We don't have displacement above, the highs on ES. So you need to find opportunities in the market where things are almost a guarantee that they happen, right? That's what when Dodgy chases, those are the things he's looking for. He's looking for those guaranteed spots when he's chasing. And he would never chase here because this is not a guarantee. Dodgy chases when we inverse the last gap in the leg and there's equal highs above and the stop is like 40 points. But we've had crazy good momentum all the way up. Those are the trades he chases on. He never chases on trades where there's no obvious target, where we're just pumping, where the stop is massive, and there's little to no place to get out. He also never chases on any account that's worthwhile. So, oh goodness, I feel like I've been talking forever. Was short from 780, exited at 765. Okay. Just because this candle. Trend friend, would you regret this trade if it lost because we're in trend day conditions? Are you on an account that matters, or are you in an eval that doesn't matter to you? And would this trade break your rules in normal price conditions? Hey, honestly, not a bad sell. As much as I hate the trade, it's not a bad sell. He kind of did his thing. Any plays today? What do you think, Carlos? Here, come on stage and tell me what you play you would have taken from 130 onward. Oh wait, I can't hear you. Give me a sec. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, 130. All right, man. What time? Which order block? Uh huh. Okay. Where's the 5 second inverse at? 130, 140. I did it on the 5 second. Okay, let me see. All right, let me find this. This one. This one. Oh, this one failed. Oh, um, I don't see the one after it. I only see this one. Oh, the delivery, the delivery. Gotcha. Yeah, like DoorDash. Like that's what you're gonna be doing soon. Okay. So those were some pretty textbook trades there. Not gonna lie. I'm more kind of goaded. I don't know why I missed those. I should have taken those. That's on me, guys. Eval 2 minute setup here. Oh, 3 minute actually. I lied. 3 minute. If we in versus 3 minute up, it's probably gonna work. Uh, yeah. So I guess we're just waiting on this 3 minute. It's just an eval play. Just a fun. Let's see if this works play. Loki, this 1 minute though. Wait a minute. Adrian, I already know you're going to take it. I'm not shorting in bullish trend day conditions. I only said I could take longs, so I think it could work, but I personally can't take it just because it breaks my rules. I don't think it's the worst setup in the world though. Like, I don't think it's for me. It's a good reaction off the 1 minute retrace. Oh, can you imagine if this is the stop run here? That would be crazy. That's like what you'd want to see. Like I don't hate the short. It just breaks my rules. I gotta respect my rules. Break even once the low gets hit. I'm just gonna cope here. Like, I'm hoping that this hits the low, it ends up being a break even trade, and that's that. Like, I don't want this to be a loss, but I'm kind of hoping it doesn't win. Because if this wins, like, that's so tough. Because this is just a trade that breaks my rules, and I can't take it. And I'm just respecting my rules. I don't short in trend day conditions, or vice versa. Like, I don't like long or short when the trend is way too bullish or bearish. So there's the stop to break even. Please break even me. Don't just run now. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. I can cope. I would have gotten break even. Perfect. I'm happy. even if this works now, I'm not mad because I didn't miss anything. You know, I got break even. And I'm gonna move to break even quick there regardless because I don't want to overstay my welcome on a short and a trend day. So that's a good way to like look at psychology. Like, if this play ends up working, I don't care. Like, I have zero FOMO behind it because on the only possible entry point that I could have had, I got break even. So, oh, Taji posted trade recaps. Oh, I thought he actually took a trade. He's just talking about his grandma. So here's 2:30 coming up in 40 seconds. It'll be the next 15-minute candle. I'd be interested to see if we inverse this Bissy down. Adrian, yes. Because it's the model. I have to. If I hit the swing low on the IFEG, I mean I have to. Even though it's technically bad RR, it's the model. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, I lied. I have a little FOMO. Adrian, I know you're in this, bro. I literally know that you're still in this trade. Like, this is totally a you trade. You never get stopped break even on these. Adrian, please just send the executions. Put me out of my misery already. I know you're holding for this low, probably. This ITL instead of a gap. You're not? You're not in the trade? Okay, good. Good, good, good. This felt like such a you trade. Like, I feel like you take trades like this all the time that just end up working. Because I feel like your rules are a little bit different than mine. They're like a little more lax. Like your break even is different than mine. If this comes back up now a second time and hits my break even point, I'll feel really good about missing the trade. Because you do have a point. Like, it is only 4 points. How's this 30-second back up, though? It's like a B- setup. No liquidity sweep. We have this liquidity right here that we could go for. Wait a sec. Okay, this is low key my next trading strategy, okay? Anytime stocks drop because of a nuclear war threat, full port the house. What's the worst that could happen? Seriously. Nothing happens and the stocks go back up? Okay, here. This is literally the next trade idea. The next time Putin or whoever makes a nuclear war threat, Kim Jong-un, whatever, full port your house on longs. Worst case scenario, the war threats come true, nuclear war happens, and it doesn't matter if you have cash or not, right? Best case scenario, you end up walking away richer. I'm just saying. Also, this short's still working. Okay, now I'm a little pressed because that would have been TP1 for me. Okay, there's the stop room. It's okay. We're going to get a banger long, right? Oh, goodness. I think if we break this 1 minute, we're going to run everything down to this gap. I think this is good momentum down. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for this selling pressure. So I can't chase, but unfortunately that was a good trade. Or it ended up being a good trade. I don't think it was a good trade, but it worked. Yeah, no, you're right, Mike. Yeah, Adrian, he's going to pop into chat. Yo, who took that? Maybe 50% makes sense here. Maybe we go back for that. We're on our way to it. Yeah, so there's 50. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. There's the unfilled 15. the last gap in the leg. If we're going to reverse here, it's going to be from here. I don't think we reverse. I think we just keep going down, but I wouldn't get in short now that we've hit it. Did anybody chase? Be honest. I know we've been talking about chasing all afternoon, but when you see momentum down candles like that violating obvious 1 minutes, it kind of makes sense. On eval, yes. Okay. So I wasn't alone when I chased on eval there. It was fun. It was a good chase, Cam. I made 20 points. 30-second long. Okay, good point. Good point. Good point. We're reacting. Yeah. Did we inverse it? Okay, we did get the inverse by a tick. Yikes. This could be like V-shaped recovery. I'm not gonna alert it. This was like a lot of selling pressure, but if you want to try it on eval, be my guest. I just want to see more structure for him before I try and take something back up. If we form this as like an OB up, that would be good. Do we have an unfilled 5 minute above? No, we don't. It's good momentum though, and we're delivering out of the 15. I'm so conflicted on this trade. I feel like it's okay. It's just you're still so high up. We did come back and hit 50 though. I want to take this so bad, like low key. Like I think it's okay. We're reacting off 50. We've hit the 15. I wish we hadn't left these equal lows. Like I feel like these equal lows could be a draw now. Yeah, okay. I'm really kind of hoping this fails, because if this ends up working and I miss back-to-back setups, that would suck. I don't like longing with liquidity below still, even though we tapped the 15. I think this is a potential BPR short entry down to the equal lows if we get it. What's the stop on this? 10 points? Yeah, I think this is worth taking if we get it. Even though you're shorting in discount, kind of. Okay, well, equal lows. There's the entry. Stop is like still 10 points. I'm going to try and get a better entry before I enter this, I think. I'm going to take this on my eval. I'm going to take it on the retrace. And I'm going to hope we hit the equal lows. All right, let's see. We might just get into bad price conditions because, let me remind you guys, when we come up, hit a daily price target, and then retrace 50% of the swing that took us to the price target, which was this most recent swing, price tends to get choppy. So we could just get choppy here. But I'm going to assume this downward pressure is good enough. And I'm going to hope the equal lows are a draw. Oh, we have an SMT. Bruh. I don't think I like this play that much anymore. I feel like we should have went straight down there. We need to close below this 30-second candle we just put in. Yeah. I just don't have conviction in it anymore. Like, we should have just shot down there. Or here. When ES takes its low again, I'm going to go to break even. I'm going to break even here. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to break even. It's too choppy now. All right, so I got break even. My God. Oh my goodness. Was that not the call of the century or what? Holy. I don't even care if this ends up winning now. If this fails, that was crazy. I hate that we left equal lows too, but we should have ran those equal lows on one of those candles. And the fact that we're stalling there like that, we shouldn't be stalling. We should be running those equal lows like immediately. That's what told me to go break even there. And also, like, as I just stated earlier, we hit 50% down of the swing that took us to the daily target. So now, like, price is going to get choppy, and that's what we're seeing. And I don't want to be in a trade in choppy conditions. Yo, what's going on? Oh, your mic. Hello. The 1 minute? Nah, I couldn't. Is it the video you posted in trade recaps? Okay. Let me see this. That's a good PM play, man. Yeah, I know. This 1 minute entry was like something I said would be good, but it got break even because we hit the low and then came back up. And then this play we tried right now on the 30-second, the short down to the equal lows. I said wait for the retrace. I got in at like 217, and then we started stalling here and we started chopping when we should have just ran these equal lows right here. So I said to go to break even, and we got break even, and now the play's gonna fail. So I wanted us to go for these equal lows down here, but we already came back and hit 50 of the range. So I was skeptical that we needed to go lower, but yeah. Or this 5 minute even. Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. Yo, guys, I saved the win streak. We were this close to losing the win streak, and I made a game time decision. This play ends up being a fail. That was crazy. That's got to be a highlight. Somebody put that in the montage. If I say I'm taking it, Jace, that counts as part of the win streak. If it's a play that I say I'm not taking, it doesn't count. Every single play that I've ever said I've taken, whether it's eval or funded, counts towards the win streak. And right there, I said I was taking this play on eval. So I took it, and I got break even. I'll send you guys the executions for that. Literally the candle before it happens. This candle right here, this 441, this is literally just screen time, by the way. This candle should have sent us down, and it didn't. And now we're in shop price conditions because remember what I keep preaching. This is literally PM model. This is at this point it's tried and true. It's tested. Whenever we take the daily target, which in this case was previous day high, and the daily SIBI, and we retrace 50% from there, price gets worse every single time. And this was our swing that took us to the daily target, and we've retraced to 50%. And instantaneously, you can see the reaction that price gives. It's so algorithmic every single time. Yeah, Eric. Probably not anymore. This was probably the only play, but a break even, which that's just the model. That's okay. That would be the only possible outcome is if we ran the equal lows and got V shape. So who was in that and who moved to break even as soon as I said it? Like who took the retrace and who was like, all right, I'm moving my stop to break even. Didn't take it? All right, cool. So it was just me that was tweaking out about that trade. Nobody else took it. Fantastic. I'm so glad I could be alone in my endeavors. What time is Nvidia earnings tomorrow? Probably after the bill, like 4:05 usually. Wait, you got stopped out? Where? Where was the long? Where was the long? You took this one? Oh, yeah. That did get stopped out, didn't it? Yeah, the first bounce. Okay, so we're tapping into the 5 minute and kind of blasting up here. I think this 1 minute would be pretty good for an entry with this momentum. Stop is about 10 points. Is there anything that I'm missing? We have the 15-minute above as a break-even point. We got the 5 minute in 3 minutes, but we're getting this pump right at the start of the macro, so I really like that. We've already had our like manipulation, which was this candle. So the 2 minute needs to close above, the 1 minute needs to close above, and I think we'll be good to take it to the 15 minute. And then go to break even, and then target high a day. Just, I mean, we're pretty far from the equal lows at this point, so if we end up coming back, that would suck, but I don't think they matter. If we wanted to go for them, we would have ran it here, not retrace, come back up, and then down. Let's take a look at 50. So, okay, we're running into 50 right at the start of the long, which I don't really care about, to be completely honest. If we inverse this gap, that's very bullish because it's a really obvious SIBI with a OB right next to it. So this should push down price, but if we inverse it, then clearly not. What would I rate this setup? This is like a B+ setup. Definitely eval worthy. It's just, it's not like light bulb like the first setup of the day was, right? You want to wait for light bulbs for funded, so not something I'd take unfunded. So it looks like we're gonna get the 5 minute inverse, as well as potentially the 1 minute here. Price would need to close over 750 on NQ. There's the gap. Was there some place to get in lower here? No, not really. This 1 minute's really it. Is there a 30-second here? We already inversed the 30-second. We inversed the 5, but we're still waiting on the 1. And the 2 minute will close on the next candle too. 3 minute doesn't really matter. It's not really relevant here. The momentum dying right at the close kind of sucks. I don't really love that, but it's all good. I don't like that close. You want closes to be like obvious, and this isn't an obvious close. The momentum dying right at the end of the candle It might work, it might not, but that degraded the setup for me. This is now a B setup. I only take B plus setups or higher for eval, so not something I'm gonna take. That this close is gonna tell me everything about whether this works or not. I think the 15-minute BPR above is a good draw, but and I like the 5-minute closing above, but this close is really tripping me out. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. It still could work, but I'm not gonna say anything. There's just so many things with screen time that like are gonna help you. And does this feel like a trade that is furthering you towards your destination, or does this feel like a trade that might potentially waste some gas in that gas tank? I mean, it could still work. I just you gotta ask yourself these questions. So the 3-minute there, we tapped out of. There's no way I dodge back-to-back losses, right? There's just no way. There's no way I'm that good. I should have taken at least one of those for a loss, right? This is definitely going to be a win. There's no way this is a loss and I miss it, right? I know. Yeah, I brought that up. I said I don't really care about it being 50%, but I did care about this close. It's still working. It's still valid technically. I'm not going to gloat yet. I'm not going to gloat yet because I could be wrong. I don't like to see what I'm seeing right now. If I was in this trade, I would be nervous. I would be wasting gas. I'd be driving around in circles. So there's the loss. Um, that's just screen time. I'm honest. If you ever see this kind of a close when we go to inverse a gap and it stalls closing into the gap after we hit the gap, after we had good momentum, and then on the last seconds of the close, the candle just barely closes above, that is like not at all what you want to see. And you know what the worst part is now? Is now it's going to work. So the inverse has failed, which is our model. But now we're going to deliver out of this 5-minute, and it's probably going to work because this 5-minute still hasn't failed. That's my guess. But now it's literally not the model, so I don't care. This close too was at 748, and the stop is at 729. So technically, it's within my risk parameters. Technically, I could have taken this on the 5, but I'm not going to because I hate the 5 personally to take trades off of. I like the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 30-second, and that's about it. I like the 5 for confluence. It's kind of like the 15, but watch. This play is still going to work, but it's going to fail on the 1 minute. Or it did fail on the 1 minute. Or maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it does end up failing. Maybe I'm wrong. But it doesn't matter if I'm wrong here because we avoided the only loss that mattered, which was this one. So maybe we end up going for the equal lows now. So we have the 3 minute, we have the 5, we have the 2, and we have the 1. This is good momentum down. I think if we got the 1 minute inverse plus the OB, that would be pretty bearish. Plus, this kind of looks like algorithmic LRR. And we're delivering off of 50%. No inverse there. 2 minute didn't close. 3 minute is in the process of closing, but we have a tiny gap below it, so you have to consider that. And then 5 minute obviously closes in 3 minutes. I honestly don't know what to do here. I feel like we might go down and run the LRR and run the equal lows, but I can't have a bias right now. We've been bullish all day. We're rejecting a 50 here. Like, I feel like things are telling me that they're bearish, but I don't trust shorts at all today. Oksana, you took that? Did you take this? Nah, look. Okay. Ah. Wait, I'm confused. Where's the unlucky stop out? You took a long, it got back to even, and then you break evened it? I'm confused. I'm really confused about that trade. So you took the 1 minute inverse, I'm guessing, or the 30-second inverse. You didn't stop out. You held the trade, and then you got back even. Isn't that lucky? Oh. Oh, you were in. Oh, sorry. I thought that was like the current chart. I'm an idiot. Yeah, so you're in from here, held through, got here, break evened on this candle, and then it ran. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Honestly, you deserve that though for taking that trade. You deserve that exact outcome for taking that trade. That's where you should have been regardless, because you should have never taken this trade, and on top of that, you held through a stop out. You should not be holding through here. This was a loss. But that's besides the point. I'm glad you ended up break even. It could have been worse. You could have taken a loss. And who cares if it ended up running? Not because you were risking 500. Were you trading the IFEG model, or were you just trading the Oksana, I'll just do whatever model? IFEG model, but I use my own risk. Okay, so you were using the Oksana, I'll just do whatever model. Gotcha. It's true, it did. I hope it doesn't cost you like your account next time though. Questionable trade, I guess. That's what I have to say about that. It's a good thing you're in here. I'm glad you're in here, Exano. Bro said I am going to catch the bottom on this long. I will catch the bottom. Here, gosh. What am I, like, second grade? You short at this point or just watching? I'm just watching. I wouldn't be short here. We inversed the 2 minute, but we never inversed the 3. We're reacting off that last gap. We had the 1 minute inverse, but obviously the 3 minute still holding and the 5 minute still holding. Plus we have the 5 minute inverse that's still holding. And it looks like I'm going to end up being right about this. Remember how I said like there's a good chance I might be wrong about this? Well, I think I'm going to end up being right. I mean, obviously now that I've seen a big green candle, I'm going to say that in its hindsight, but we shall see. Hey, good job at least holding yourself accountable, Oksano. I hope to see a red post in the calendar chat. My calendar only counts for PAs. It doesn't count for evals. Let's see. Did I get the pre-fire? Actually, I don't know your rules. So maybe it wasn't a red calendar day. Maybe your rule is, you have a static risk where you risk 500 and you just play the entry no matter what, and if it hits 500 loss, then so be it. Maybe that is your rules. And if that's what's made you profitable, or it's helping you be profitable, then continue to use it. For me, I'm going to follow the model. Oh, that's your only rule? It's light bulb only? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess if that's your only rule, then you followed your rules. You took a trade that was light bulb. What are my rules? Yeah, let me grab those real quick. Were there any real? Yeah, just the one trade at 9. That was about the only thing that was light bulb. I found it. Give me a sec. Oh, sorry, wrong person. Yep. Dude, Patrick or Justin Werlin or whatever called out a trade on this chill guy thing, and I saw it yesterday, and now it's 25x. I literally saw it. I saw it when he entered it. D-Trader, I'm so upset. I've literally watched so many of these stupid coins go crazy. I've been complaining about it for like the last 3 days now. He called out the Huz now. The Huz is the ticker that's gonna go crazy. And honestly, it makes sense. It's a huge meme right now. Literally, like, meme coins are back and bigger than ever. Like, we thought Dogecoin was gonna be like the last meme. The Huz? Oh, you don't know about the Huz? Dang, Fahrenheit. I see how it is. Dude, Trump's already said that he's not making it a real thing. He literally said, "Yeah, it's just like it's just to make Elon happy." Like, that's basically what he said. It's just like it's like the Queen of England. Like, that's the equivalent that Elon is. He doesn't really have any government power. It's just like a title. But we'll see. Maybe he ends up having power. Who knows? Oh my gosh, PA got really bad. So once again, PM model doing its thing. We hit daily target, retrace 50%, and now we're chopping. He has power if there is confluence. I don't know what that means, but all right. I guess. If others support his assertions. Oh, yeah, I guess, for sure. Yeah, the new day opening gap is like right here. So technically we're only up 100 points. But we dropped to 250 in the morning when Russia was talking about nuking Ukraine. So now they aren't doing that, obviously. They're bluffing as usual. That's why I made the joke earlier that if you wanted to make some free money and you know, basically like have a trade with zero risk, what you do is you buy the dip on like nuclear fear whenever the market dips or when stocks dip, and then worst case scenario, nuclear war happens and nothing matters anyway. Sounds good, Trade Boy. Hey, appreciate the callback. Oh, I got you. D Trader, this one was the best. So you have two 1 minute gaps inversed in a singular candle that is literally 30 points while putting in a 1 minute OB. This is about as textbook as it gets. This was the trade. Oh, plus we have OBs here that just got completely destroyed in one candle. So this was it. And then break even once we hit this high. And then TP1 when we hit this high. And then TP2 when we hit this high. And then probably got shaken out here. You probably weren't going to hold for the remainder of the move. But still, you could have held till the second TP, which was here. And that was almost 100 points from the entry. How would you rate the 1 minute higher up? Like an A setup, and this was A+. So A+. The problem with this entry was that you got break even. Which sucks. Like your entry was here on this candle, run up, stop to break even when we hit the last gap in the leg, comes down, break evens you, and then it runs. Break even not saving you there, exactly. And then what you could have done is just waited for the OB to get put in and then re-enter off that and chased. But that's something else completely. That's a different model. So, all right. I think the stream is pretty good today. I know I like. So the way I like to think about it is, as long as I provide 2 hours of content, if the market starts getting choppy, that's when we'll cut it, right? Because there's no point in us staying on if we've been on for 2 hours, which is what AM stream is. It's 2 hours. And nobody else is asking questions, and we're just watching the market, right? But we haven't been on for 2 hours yet. I was just saying that's why like we end early sometimes, because when we get the PM model and that plays out, and then there's just chop, there's not really anything left for us to take. So I'm not calling it yet. You're calling it, Mister. You're out of gas. All right, sounds good. All right, well, go to the gas station, find some more gas, and we'll catch you tomorrow. What to do with this 1 minute? Which 1 minute? The one that already failed? Nothing. This is a nothing setup. The 5 minute is respected, so we're back to break even on that initial 1 minute entry. And I told you guys the 5 minute was going to end up working here. I said I might be wrong, but like that's usually what happens is we'll get like a setup like this where we pump up, and then screen time told me that this candle was indicating that this was going to be a fail. And then I said, now it's a B setup. It's not something I can take on eval. It's bad. And then it fails. And then I say, okay, the 5 minutes going to work now. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this 5 minute BPR is going to hold, and we're just going to run back to the highs. And now we're back at the highs. So, yay. What's the question, D Trader? Yeah, absolutely, Seb. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, you too. By the way, another analogy that we can put into the whole gas like thing, the whole gas tank, is what happens when you drive a car on empty, right? When it's out of gas. You damage the car. So in the same way that you damage a car and the car stops whenever you run out of gas, that's the same as you blowing up a funded account. So whenever you can recognize that you're out of gas, when you've hit E on the fuel gauge, is when you should be done trading for the day. Whether that's AM, whether that's PM, whether that's whenever. Because anytime you drive on empty, you're damaging your car. You're damaging your fuel pump. And that's a good life tip too. Don't drive your car on empty or near empty for extended periods of time, because you damage your fuel pump. It overheats. See, that was $2.50 of value right there. Okay, so you want my thoughts on the 5-minute short here. Okay, so let's analyze the 5-minute short at 1250. This gap specifically, since we got nothing better to do. So my main issue with trading this on the 5-minute here is that one thing that you want to take into consideration whenever you're trading the IFEG model is the size of the gap relative to the rest of the range, right? If you're trading on the 1-minute time frame and you're trading in the 1-minute range, these gaps are obvious. This gap over here isn't, okay? And you can tell that visually, right? So when you look at the 5-minute, which is what you're trading on, this is the first problem that I have with the trade. You have this gap down here that's obvious, and then you don't really have any more obvious gaps, like the entire move up, including this one. And then you put in another 5-minute obvious gap here, and another obvious gap, and another obvious gap, right? These are all obvious gaps. This 5-minute CB, that's an obvious gap. But this one, relative to the rest of the range, not so much. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is you're shorting against the trend. You are jumping in front of a freight train. So whenever you're trying to fade the trend, whether that's jumping in front of a falling knife or jumping in front of a freight train, you're asking to get wrecked. The third thing that I find wrong with this trade is that it's out of my current rules for trading. I cannot trade before 1250, and I've already broken a rule this week where I actually took a 1250 trade. And for me, 1250 can be a good time to trade, but just not on the 5-minute. And technically this close was at 1245, right? I think. No. This is the 1250 open, so no. The close here was at 59, so technically it's during the macro, but it's too small. It's during lunch, and you're fading the trend. Plus, I'm guessing there's gaps below. Maybe not. So the 3-minute inverse, 2-minute, there's no gap. Is there a 15? No 15. And then, I mean, you just have like 1 minutes that are still holding, right? So overall, the main issue is that it's not an obvious gap. That's my primary thought. Trend friend, you might need to adjust your chart colors and just like the way your chart looks. Does your chart look similar to mine? Like where it's like clean and all I have are these, or are there like a bunch of indicators on it and like stuff that gets in the way and like it's hard to tell with the wicks because of the coloring? So it looks like mine. Okay, yeah, post a picture. Because it might just be that your chart isn't simple enough. You might need to simplify. Yeah, so already there's a few things that I would get rid of personally from the chart, and that would be all those dotted dashes and whatever you have. I don't know what that is, but I would like lower the opacity on that. And then I think your colors are fine. That's not the issue. Like, are those like midnight and stuff? Like midnight and London Open and whatever. Okay. So if you find that those levels help you, um, that's fine. Personally, I don't have those on my chart. As far as the wicks, though, I feel like you can see them pretty easily. At least on my monitor, I can see it fine. Maybe it's a monitor issue. Like your hardware itself is the problem. I guess if you could highlight specifically where you're having problem areas, like maybe I can help you. Yeah, there might not just be any FEGs, right? Like if it doesn't stand out to you like this, where it's the three candle pattern of the first candle here and then a gap and then a third candle, then it's not an FEG, right? Like you can see here, like the wicks overlap, these wicks overlap, these wicks, right? And then you can obviously see that there's a gap here, right? So just like here, for example, right? Like there's an obvious gap here. Like I mean, it's not an obvious gap, but there's a gap, and you could see it. And then here, like this is where I could see like there'd be a problem area for you, right? But these gaps are so insignificant most of the time that you don't even have to worry about it. These one wick gaps, you don't really have to worry about one wick gaps ever. As long as like the gap itself is bigger than a point, like that's what you should be worrying about. Do you have like the FEG indicator? Because I would turn that off. And just get better through screen time at identifying fair value gaps. Yeah, I would turn that off personally. I mean, it's fine if you like it and you're able to use it, but if it's causing you to like miss trades or like if it's cluttering your chart, I would get rid of it. You really only need like the rectangles and just draw them in yourself manually. Yeah, I just personally I would say your problem if you're having issues with visually your chart, it's just that your chart isn't simple and you need to make it more simple. But if you need all those things on your chart in order to trade better, then keep them because that's what's more important and just try and find ways to keep those things without them being intrusive. But if there's something that's not a necessity on the chart, get rid of it because the motto I follow is keep it simple, stupid, right? Kiss. Keep your chart simple so that there's less distractions. You're able to identify trades easier. You're able to road map out trades easier, and overall, it'll just make your life easier. Yeah. See, like there's okay. Yeah, there's way too much going on that chart. Like I don't like how the I'm guessing that's the EMA. I don't love how the EMA is trailing everything and getting in the way of everything. I you can see the gap still, I think, but the lines that overcross it and intersect it, and then you have like the Sibi that overlaps the Visi. Like there's so many things on that chart that get in the way, and having the executions on too, like those get in the way. Like just try and find something that you don't need on the chart to simplify, and then just continue to go from there until your chart looks clean like mine, until there's nothing left to simplify. Oh, I know what you could do. Do you have multiple monitors, or do you just have the one monitor? This one it doesn't really matter, but it helps me a little. This is my suggestion. If you um if you have an extra monitor, or even if you don't, make a separate chart with nothing on it, right? So you can have your trading view chart with all of your different, um, EMAs and midnight opens and new week opening gaps and whatever. And then keep your trading view chart the way it is. And then have like Trade of 8 open or Ninja Trader chart open or something like that. That's just completely clean. And then go back and forth between those charts and find fair value gaps on the simpler chart. And then use the other chart for everything else. Maybe try that and see if that works. Or I don't know, maybe you could use like, so there's different templates for TradingView. You could use one template, how you have it, and then you could make a separate template on a different chart that you have open. Um, that like is like the more simpler one. If you don't have like a separate brokerage with a different chart. Does anybody else have any suggestions for him? I feel like I've kind of exhausted everything. Okay, gotcha, Trend Friend. Nice. Oh, yeah, like a toggle button, James. That would be good too. All right, Trend Friend, I appreciate that. I've gotten that sentiment from a few people, and I don't want that to be like the main takeaway. Is like, oh, I think you're better than Dodgy, so I'm just gonna leave him and I'll just join you, right? Like, I don't want you guys to think that he is your mentor. I'm just the add-on. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be able to make you profitable and teach you price. I'm just the add-on. Okay. I mean, I appreciate it, but he's still really good. He made me profitable, and I learned everything from him. So um, I understand if it's a money thing and you want to consolidate or whatever, but he's not against you. He's your friend. He's your mentor. So he's gonna make sure that you're learning, and he takes good trades and he does everything. So all right, Maya. Thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's just because of the color. I think my colors are a little better. Also, I don't know if he pays for Nitro. His quality might be worse than mine because I'm streaming in 1440 and I think he's streaming in 1080. So I'll talk to him about it personally, Trend Friend. If that's your deal breaker, then I'll make sure he knows about it. All right, I'll explain it to him. Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. Does anybody else have any questions? By the way, this ended up working. The 5 minute ended up holding like I said it would. It's not. It's $10 a month. He can write it off. It's it's not going to eat into his expenses or anything. You only need 500 more to pass MFFU eval. Congrats, man. That's like 2 trades. How do you detach from the money aspect of trading? Well, there's literally like ways you can do it, like by just turning off the money portion and turning it into ticks or points or whatever. And then there's the mental portion, which I think you're more relating to. And I discussed this with actually oh gosh, who was it? Devin is his name, but I can't think of his alias. Risk Feast today, right? Um, the main thing that you can do is most of the time when people are focused on the money part of it, it's coming from a place of desperation, right? It's coming from like, oh my God, I have to make money. I have to, support my kids. I have to, find a way out of my parents' house. I have to do this. I have to do that, right? And when you're trading from that mindset, you're trading based on emotion, which is what I talked about, right? How trading an emotion usually ends up resulting in the worst outcomes because you can't make like logical decisions and you're trading from this place of desperation, right? So the best thing to do is find ways to remove that desperation, whether that's from like just training yourself not to do it through therapy or meditation or whatever, whether that's actually finding a reason to not be desperate for money. So if you're unprofitable right now and you need money and you're unemployed, maybe the option would be to find a remote job or find some work that would make you less desperate for money. Although that's definitely on a case-by-case basis, because I know personally for me, if I was struggling with money and I got a job, the first thing I'd be thinking is, oh my gosh, I have to get good at trading so I can quit the job, right? So that might not work for everybody, but that's a potential avenue. And then there's obviously like a lot of other, outlets online and books you can read on how to separate yourself from the money aspect. But the biggest thing for me, honestly, is just recognizing that the work you put in isn't about the money. It's about creating a profitable trading system. And so by following your rules, by following your model, you're going to be profitable in the long run, which means the money will follow with that profitability, with being able to get more points out of the market than you're leaving, right? So that's the big thing that I focus on, is just basically, I know that my system works. I know that it's profitable. I know that it's worked over a period of time. So instead of focusing on the money aspect, which I know is going to come, I'm going to focus on purely my model and making sure that I'm following it to a T, right? And that's easier said than done. But it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of screen time and a lot of work to make that happen. Okay? So that's the main thing, is just training yourself, making sure that you're only taking A+ setups, making sure that you're using your gas efficiently. And there's another option there too, which is have one account that you take the trades that you want to take, and then have another account that you just signal bot me and dodgy. And our win rates are so good that you can probably just be profitable off of signal botting us, right? Like that's the other option. Like, I don't know. That last part was kind of a joke, but that's a good point, Mineshaft. Another way is to detach yourself is to decrease the risk that you have, because if you're so focused on the money because of the risk that you're putting on, then maybe it's best to just de-risk, and then you won't be as focused on the money, right? Like when I'm at a blackjack table and I'm playing basic strategy, um, and I'm betting table minimum, I'm perfect. I don't care. I don't make mistakes. I'm just playing for the love of the game. I'm just playing basic strategy and I'm having fun and I'm doing whatever. Whenever I decide to size up or taking $100 trade, oh my gosh, basic strategy goes out the window. Like I forget like it was even there, right? I forget that I forget all the things that got me to the point of just being able to make consistent slow growth on my chips in my stack, and I get emotional and I over leverage or whatever, right? Like I start to do martingale strategy, and I'm not counting cards, and I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not doing the things that made me profitable in the first place, right? Trading is exactly like counting cards, right? You're betting against a losing system in theory, but you're taking advantage of the opportunities that present itself in the game on the charts that help you to become profitable. It's almost identical. So, I guess that's about it. Yeah, most places don't. There's actually a place that I used to go to. It's called Soaring Eagle when I was up at school. And they had 6 deck shoes with real live dealers, and you could for sure count. and I was profitable for a good like 10 or 11 weeks when I was there, um, during my internship at Dow. Counting isn't very difficult. How deep they go? I said you're asking about the shoes, right? Or the shoe size? I said six deck. Six deck, and then they would go until like one and a half decks left. So like basically exactly what you're looking for, right? But the table maximums were like $200. Oh really? Yeah. I just got really good because I was using an app where they like basically trained you on how to do it. But yeah, so up here, I was saying that this was a point of reversal because we never inversed the 4 hour and we took high of day on ES. Right here, I was saying that price was probably going to get sloppy because we hit the daily price target and have retraced 50% to the swing that sent us that price target. Right here, I said to stop out for break even. Right here, I said this trade was going to fail. And right here, I said that this 5 minute was probably going to work. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 predictions back to back to back that have all worked today. That's what screen time gets you in the long run. That's how you're able to be profitable as a trader because you know when the market's going to be able to, or has an opportunity to reverse. You know why the market does the way it, acts the way it acts, and you know exactly what you need to do in order to enter like a good trade. You know exactly how to make a trade plan. Ursula, nothing, just mostly stuff in chat. If you scroll up, you'll see like the questions that I answered, and then if you want to look back and you want to see like what you missed, I'll be posting a full stream recap video later on. The main thing really was this trade that I took on eval that I said I was taking that I clutched last second and said I was going to break even, and then the play ended up failing. Mike, no, I would never get a big head. I would never get a big head. Thank you. I'm very grateful to be in the position I am, and I've learned from a lot of very smart people. So all praise to them. ICT, Dodgy, Leopard, Plyo, all these people have taught me a lot. So I'm just hoping to pass on that knowledge to you guys. Here, give me 1 second. I'm getting a potential spam phone call, but I'm awaiting a phone call. So let me see if this is it. Never mind. I think it's a dude in a call center. I thought it was like. Never mind. That's so tough. When you're waiting on a phone call and you get a spam call. Alrighty, well, if nobody else has any more questions, I'm opening up questioning for like right now. But if nobody else has it, I'm going to call the stream. Yeah, thank you, D Trader. Thanks, Shotka. You too, Mineshaft. Cheers, Ed. Peace out, Risk. Alrighty. I guess that's it. Unless Oksano's still typing, so maybe he has a question. Nope. He stopped typing. Alrighty. No. Like, like honestly, I'm never gonna tear into anybody about trades. Like it's all learning for all of us, right? So I'm just yeah, like you said, I'm trying to keep it real. So exactly, yeah. Like I know sometimes like, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to pit you guys against Dodger or anything like that. But sometimes he will call people out. Like this morning, he called out Austin in the announcements, and I don't want to ever single anybody out, and I don't want anybody to feel unwelcome or anything like that. So I know you can take it. That's why I you know said something. But alrighty, have a good rest of the day. Um, don't do anything dumb in the 10:50 macro. Looks like we might just pump into the end of the day. Um, will I be on tonight? I mean, I'll be on Discord probably. I got to edit this video right now, but I'm probably not going to be on tonight. No, as far as trading goes. Um, alrighty, well, thank you guys. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day. I'll get this video uploaded and then I'll see you for 9 a.m. I think. Do I have somebody tomorrow? No, I don't. All right, I'll see you guys for 1:30 Wednesday tomorrow. We'll get it done. We'll make some trades. Peace out.